the eye slowly. But when I try to do it, I can't. So the eyelash got too long and they stick together, so I've got to give it a jerk. Good. Now, at every course, we have a rapid-fire question and answer question. Now, most of you will know what this means. That if one person asks the question, I speak a whole hour on it, and there might be others who also want to ask questions and they don't have a chance. The rapid-fire question means anyone here can ask any question they like, even about the Kerry man and Kerry woman, or even how to make a cake. So, we'll start it off this morning.
Dear Guruji, how can teaching meditation help us along our spiritual path?
Teaching meditation helps you along your spiritual path because while you are teaching, you are being self-taught and you become more deeper and deeper in your own practices. You can ask any teacher that teaches at an ordinary school that they learn more from the children than what they teach the children. They start learning the human mind, how a child operates, what is the psychological basis of the child's mind, because every little child is a class on its own. So, the teacher teaching standard 1 or 2, what do you call it, Form 1, Form 2? Standard in South Africa the same. You have 40 children or 30 children. Remember the teacher's 30 classes. So, by teaching, you are clarifying your own thoughts in your own mind to a more finer and finer degree. And as the saying goes, the giver is always the receiver, and you receive more. And when you teach and you find the person going into a deep, comfortable state, there is something that happens to your heart as well. Because what you are emanating, that person would take on, and what that person in that relaxed state would emanate, you would take on too. So it's mutually beneficial. I go around the world teaching, and you'd be surprised how much I gain myself studying the various personalities, and I am a student of life, and a master of it too. But I first had to be able to master life. So teaching has the greatest benefit possible. And it's not for everyone to be cut out as a teacher. You must have that little ability. So therefore, when we appoint teachers, we are very careful just not to appoint anyone. Okay? Good. Next question.
Dear Guru Raj, why do some people start meditating and then stop?
Very good. Many people start meditating for many different reasons. And I have studied statistically that there might be less than 2% that start to meditate that really want to find the kingdom of heaven within. Most people start to meditate because of the personal problems. They could have psychological problems, financial problems, domestic problems, you name it. And therefore they start meditating. Now they think that meditation is like a magic wand, that you just wave the wand and all your troubles are gone. Now I say that is nonsense. Your troubles will go, but it will go gradually. By meditation, as I've said before, as you learn to face yourself more and more in the mirror and start realizing your weaknesses, you start removing your weaknesses. Now, those that stop meditating are people that does not want to persevere. So some people come to meditation just for the sake of curiosity. Now, anything in life you'll find takes some time. If you're a housewife and you're cooking, you can't just wave a wand and the meal is ready cooked. If you are a carpenter and you want to build a table, you just can't wave a magic wand. Even Jesus had to work hard with his sword and his hammer to build the tables and chairs and the cartwheels and what have you. There. So perseverance, consistency, and doing meditation in a proper method, you'll find your troubles will disappear gradually. Because you're becoming more and more stable. And the more stable you become, the more integrated you become, the greater would your benefits be. Now don't think that I'm going to start meditating now and tomorrow £1 million pounds is going to fall in my lap. Forget it. But through meditation you can develop the stability. You can develop the integration. Your mind becomes more powerful, more clear in thinking, so that you can make the plan whereby you can create that £1 million. I'm using this as an analogy, but it applies to everything else. Really. So those people that stop meditating, I do feel sorry for them. Sorry in the way that your tools are given to them for nothing. I don't charge a penny for teaching people to meditate. Not a penny. The 10-pound postal order that is sent with your form, that goes towards expenses. The secretarial expenses, there are telephones to pay, there are lights to pay, there's filing to be done, there's stationery, there's postages. It goes for that. I don't charge. I give for 3 years. I give this gift totally free. And tonight, we're going to have the communion practice, where I become one with divinity. You do nothing, you just sit still. Right? And tonight I'll give you a more deep explanation of it. Right. Now, I have to go through a similar state in order to initiate someone into the person's practices. And that is given to me as a gift. And when people misuse a gift, it is their fault. I cannot help it. I give and I give and I give. How they use it or misuse it or don't use it, I can't do anything about it. But people always want to have things instantly. Instant pudding, instant coffee. It doesn't work that way. People are so fragmented in this world over the existence of the millions of years of existence there. And do they expect a miracle happening like that? It does not. You can create miracles, or so-called miracles. There are no miracles really. It is only to know the finer laws of nature, and the man that has reached a very high level of spirituality would understand the finer laws of nature. I've said this many times, that say 100 years ago, someone tells you that a 2,000-ton piece of iron can fly through the sky, you will say he is mad, because they did not understand the laws of aeronautics. I can sit here now and within 2 minutes, 1 minute, immediately I can speak to thousands of miles away to my wife. If you had to tell that to people before, they say, you're mad. Right. Now, these subtler laws which people don't understand are operating within themselves, because they do not know the subtle laws, they have no appreciation of it. So, to repeat again, perseverance, and I can show you thousands and thousands of letters on my file from people who I do not need appreciation, but they write how meditation and spiritual practices prescribed by true master has really transformed their lives. Now, if people are impatient and do not want to persevere, that is their business. You know, this man, this Kerry man, got a letter from his bank, from the manager. He said, "Just come and see me immediately." So the Kerry man went to his bank manager, and the bank manager told him, he says, "Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Kerry man, you've got a 500-pound overdraft, and you must square it immediately." So this man says, "Sir, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it, but can I give you a check for it?" The next question. Guruji, we are always interested in finding happiness. An old Chinese proverb says, if you want to be happy for an hour, get drunk. If you want to be happy for 3 days, get married. If you want to be happy for 10 days, kill your pig and eat it. If you want to be happy forever, learn to fish. Please comment.
That is all very true except the last one. If you want to be happy forever, learn to fish. But the Chinese proverb does not mean the fish that's in the water. It means that eternal fish, forever living, and that is within you. People are like fish too. They are beside a river and yet die of thirst. And yet the river is just there, one step away. Meanwhile, that is meant as a joke, that proverb. If you want to be happy for 1 hour, you get drunk. But how unhappy won't you be after you get sober? You have a terrible hangover and your troubles are still there. And if you want to be happy for 3 days, you get married. That's also not true. There are many married people here that have been married for years and years. I've been married for 37 years. I'm very, very happy. And so that is actually meant as a joke, like the other Chinese proverb that says, a rape impossible. Man with pants down, women with dress up can run faster than man with pants down. Now that makes sense. Just the blue stationery. All grown ups here. But I mean, it's a fact. You know, this one ferryman, he was describing to his friend the 2 yellow lines we have on the road. You have 2 yellow lines? Fine. He says if there's 1 yellow line, it means you must park with 2 wheels on the pavement. Yeah. And if there's 2 yellow lines, you park with all 4 wheels on the pavement. Next question.
We find difficulty sometimes to getting people to understand that we are teaching meditation and we are not teaching religion.
You're not teaching?
Religion.
Religion.
So many people, so many Christians feel that meditation is taking them away from their religion. Could you please comment?
Yes. Now, our emblem there, that could be shown to them and everyone has a picture of it. That we have nothing against any religion. All the major religions are portrayed there. An eternal circle here, the red one, the spiraling eternal circle as we call it, represents any religion that is not on the board. For example, many people formulate their own personal philosophies and their own religions. They do that. So, I think I did explain the other day that what I normally say, if you are a Christian, become a better Christian. If you are a Buddhist, become a better Buddhist. If you are a Hindu, become a better Hindu. Right. And the purpose of all that is this, that it takes you to the light within. Therefore we have the flame in the center. So they must be told that meditation is a systematic and scientific process. And it has nothing to do with religion. And as you would know, I've given thousands of talks around the world, and I've never talked from any religious point of view, because my teachings are universal. I might quote from the Bible, or from the Upanishads, or from the Quran, or from the Torah, for the purpose of illustration. So, as you would know yourself, and you've attended so many of our courses, you and our dear Bill, at the back there, lovely. And you know that our teachings are totally universal. And I've had one experience, it is this, that I've spoken to very, very large crowds and small crowds as well. And the largest crowd that I ever spoke to was 30,000 people. And when I sit and speak to anyone, if it's a Hindu that's listening, he will say, Guru Raj is talking of Hinduism. And the same audience, if a Christian is listening, he will say, our Guru Raj is talking of Christianity. And so it applies to everyone because our teachings are universal. We go to the basis of truth. And there is only one truth, and truth is God. So this must be explained to them that we do not teach religion. We teach you a scientific method, systematic way, how to go deep within yourself, gain that inner spiritual energy, and you will naturally and automatically become a better Christian or a better Buddhist. So these explanations must be given. These people have a terrible misconception. They say meditation came from the East, which is not true. In the beginning, because East being so much older, the Eastern cultures like the Indian and the Chinese, and those cultures being thousands and thousands of years older than the Western culture. For example, in India, they discovered Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, the excavators, the archaeologists, and they found the most perfect sanitation system. And that was about 4,000 years before Christ. They have a way of finding out the time through the excavation. So it was a very highly civilized people. They're not so civilized today anymore. Nevertheless, therefore, many of the teachings have come from the East. And I could tell you one thing, and when I'm finished with this book on the life of Christ, you will find all this, how the 13 years were missing in his, people don't know what happened in that gap of 13 years. And he went to the East. He went to Tibet, he went to Egypt, he went to Tibet, he went to India, and studied under great masters. And he brought those teachings back to Israel and tried to combine it into Judaism, the Old Testament, which of course later was brought about into the New Testament. And therein too, Jesus teaches of meditation. Man, know thyself. How do you know yourself? The only difference between Jesus or Buddha's teachings and mine is this, that they told you, do this and do that and do that. Now this is an extension of the teachings, not a reversal of the teachings or a contradiction of the teachings. It's an extension. They said, man, know thyself. I tell you the same, know thyself, and I show you the way how to know yourself. Those times he used to teach the peasants and those people, not highly sophisticated and educated as you are, so he could only teach them at that time, believe in thy Father in heaven. Believe. Today if you tell someone believe, they say, this chap is loco, he must be mad. And that's the trouble with our churches today, and the temples and the synagogues, there are a lot of them. I'm excluding no one. If they could only give people an experience that there is a divine force, then automatically they will start believing. There's no use telling the mind only believe, believe, believe. That doesn't work. It becomes blind faith. But once you have some experience inside, say you have never been near a fire, and I tell you, believe that the fire is hot, but you've never seen a fire and never been near a fire, and I tell you, believe that the fire is hot, you will be a bit skeptical. But if I take you to the room, to the fireplace, and show you and make you feel the heat coming from it, you will have experienced the heat of the fire, and then you will truly believe that fire gives off heat. So that's the only difference, that I show how. And not only teaching how, but also imparting that spiritual force to you to be used. And if you are receptive enough, you will feel that spiritual force. Well, definitely. We call it Guru Shakti. The universal forces that flow through me. It's little me. I'm also flesh, bones and blood, like all of you. I do all the things that you do. I eat, I drink, I go to the toilet. I perform all the biological functions. I'm human, and divinity is abstract. The human mind can never conceive of divinity. So what does divinity do? It sends down that spirit in a human form so that a human could impart that impulse of the spirit to another human. Otherwise, that abstract cannot be conceived of or received except through a human being that you can relate to. And that is how that divine spiritual spark or Guru Shakti is imparted. And that is why people like Mahavir, Buddha, Krishna, Christ came on this earth. And then, of course, there were other lesser saints as well. So that is how people are taught to learn, to believe. And once I had a press conference in London a few years ago, and the press people were invited, and I told them that the churches lack one thing, that they talk, and nothing is important. It's a nice place to go and have a snooze, asleep, actually. But if every priest or every pastor or minister during his theological training is put through meditational practices and could impart an experience to his congregation, the churches will become more full. But what's happening today? Churches are becoming empty and the disco clubs are becoming full. So that's the end. And this one Keriman, he committed a lot of crimes, and the total years he was to be jailed for was 500 years. You know, with his sentences running concurrently, as they say, law. So he made an appeal. He was sentenced to 500 years. So he appealed against the sentence. In the appeal, they lowered his jail sentence to 400 years. Next question. It's an open day, anything you like. Oh, sorry, but you're looking from there. Yes. Oh, but you're such a young man, you...
I have been asked several times why people have not heard of any Western gurus.
There are some Western gurus. To me, everything is a guru. Everything. To me, you are gurus, if I can learn something from you. Everything that teaches you something is a guru. Guru means teacher. The word guru is in two syllables. Guru means darkness and ru means light. The one that leads you from darkness to light is a guru. Now there are some Western gurus, but the Easterners are more noted for it. Because the Western society, when the Western people were running around naked as barbarians, the Easterners were very highly civilized. So they are better equipped because of the whole background they have, the cultural background they have. And the Eastern mind has always been orientated to spiritual things. So therefore you'd find more Eastern gurus. And just very few of them are genuine. You see what happens when they can't find a job. When a man can't find a job, he either becomes a politician or he becomes a guru. And that is why we have a lot of sham false gurus around the world. Very few truthers. They're all money makers. If you look at the bank account of, say, Mauritius, millions. If you look at Muktanand's bank account, he's got millions and millions and millions. I could go on and on with a long list. Therefore, whenever I visit them, when I'm invited by them, I give them hell. They shiver in their damn pants. Some of them don't wear pants, by the way. And they wear those long captain type of things. Yeah, but it's because of the long heritage. Now, that has weakened India. The Western people have attached more importance to materiality, to external things, while the Easterners have attached more importance to spiritual or inner things. Now, if you go to any extreme, it's an imbalance. What I teach is this: create a balance between the two, between materiality and spirituality. As I always say, if you have a 5-roomed home, have a 10-roomed home. You have a Volkswagen, have a Rolls-Royce. Nothing wrong with that. But do not become attached to it. It is here today and gone tomorrow. Right. So, while you are developing your external circumstances, at the same time, develop your internal purity and internal unfoldment. Combine the two, because in the final analysis, there is no difference between relativity and the absolute. There's no difference between the relative and the absolute. They are but one. And therefore we say God is omnipresent, is present everywhere. So he must be present in all material things as well. But man, the Western man, does not seem to, or want to, rather realize that. So I say the Easterners are wrong and the Westerners are wrong. So both go to extremes. And what we teach is that in our organization, in our, I rather call it our family. I don't like the word organization or movement or things like that. In our worldwide family, what we teach is to live in the balance of purpose. I say many times, if I'm given a slice of dry bread or a king's food, I would choose the better. Okay. But if I'm given a dry piece of bread, I will not feel disappointed. Dry bread tomorrow, okay. Tomorrow perhaps with a little butter on it, fine. And perhaps someday with a little jam also, okay. I accept. Okay. So we try and strive to bring about a good balance. If I can wear a decent shirt, this was made for me, by the way, by Gloria, who is the wife of the Bolivian ambassador to America. Gloria, she makes all my shirts as a gift. If I can wear a decent shirt, why must I wear a ragged shirt? Why? What's it going to prove? But yet I'm not attached to the shirt. If I didn't have the shirt, all those pants, I'll come down in my underpants and give you a satsang. You know, in England we had fun one. I caught a terrible cold. I don't know if you and Bill were on that course. It's known as the pajama satsang. So what happened was this. I caught, Charles, were you there? Yes, you were there. Right. And I had a terrible cold and flu, you know, change of climate, change of water, change of food, all this. So I got sick. And we had 4 doctors on the course who are our meditators, all running up and down and up and down and up and down to my room. They say, Guruji, you are not going to get out of bed. You must stay warm to get rid of the cold, because I still had many more courses to do and other countries to go to, and we can't allow you to get sick. From this cold you could get pneumonia, and from pneumonia you could get heaven pneumonia. And we don't want you there yet, we want you down here. Right. So I said, man, I've got to get my satsang. I can't fail my people. So I thought for a moment, and I said, wait a minute, I've got an idea. I'll stay in bed and shift all the chairs. Now there's another big room just under my bedroom. Shift the chairs to that room, fine, or people can sit on the floor, they don't mind, and get the fellow Mike, his name was Mike, you know, Mike, to bring a microphone upstairs and leave the wife downstairs to the speakers. Yeah. And I remember very well the question that was asked, because it was so amusing. He was sitting downstairs, and I was there lying in bed, propped up in pillows and giving a satsang. And they're all downstairs, and they're so close, and most of them were sitting on the floor, and such a beautiful rapport developed between the people. You know, they really felt as if they were one beautiful family. And I remember the question that was asked, what is the nature of personal identity? I never remember what questions they ever asked of me, and I never remember what I talk about. But this being such an unusual circumstance, it stuck to the mind. Okay. You know, Kerriman bought a paper shop And you know what happened? It blew away. Next question.
I would like to know the nature of marriage and in how many levels marriage could function.
Beautiful. There is only one nature to marriage because marriage is nature itself. Everything in the world you find around is marriage. Look how beautiful those leaves are married to the branches of those trees, and those branches are married to the trunk of the tree, and the trunk of the tree is married to the roots of the tree, and the roots of the tree is married to the ground, and in that ground, the ground is married to all the minerals and the vitamins or whatever there are in the ground, and that is married to God because He provides for them. Everything that forms a union, that forms a togetherness, is a marriage. But marriage has been so misinterpreted, it has become a miscarriage instead of marriage. You go to court or you go to the church and have a marriage and they give you a piece of paper. You know what you can do with that piece of paper? I would not even use it in the toilet. It's too hard. Piece of paper means nothing at all. That is only for legal protection. And so that if the husband is cruel, the wife could have some rights and not just be chucked out on her ear in the street or the other way around. So that the weaker party, the weaker sex, and that, by that I don't mean women only, because many times the men are the weaker sex. But they won't admit it. Male chauvinistic or something. So that the weaker sex, it could be of any, male or female, is not done any injustice as far as material things are concerned. So that piece of paper is concerned only with material things. The real marriage is there. It comes from the heart. Where two hearts meet in oneness, then that is true marriage, that togetherness. At first, two people before they know each other walk with four legs, two legs. But when they are joined in union with each other, they walk with three legs. Each leg of each other is welded together, and they walk like in three legs. That is, marriage is not a closeness of the body, but through marriage is closeness and oneness of the spirit. And the spirit in actuality is but one, but people fail to recognize that. That is the true significance of marriage and not the piece of paper. So, two people that really love each other do not need to look into each other's eyes, but the two pairs of eyes must look in the same direction. That means harmony. So they look in the same direction, the same way. Their minds are attuned to each other. Their bodies are joined to each other through the power of the realization of one spirit that flows in both. So this body, I'm sitting here and you are there. Do you think we are apart from each other? No. We are so close to each other. There are millions and millions and billions of atomic particles that are floating between you and me. The same kind of particles that constitute your body and my body. So we are together. We are not separate. And when people realize that in marriage there's no separation, but there is that togetherness, then that is real marriage. People get married for many reasons. People get married for, say, monetary gain. This is a rich girl. Right, fine. Good. People get married because he's got the lovely nose and beautiful eyes, and nice chap, a nice girl. Infatuation. It is only of the mind. And then the marriage does not work out and they separate. You know why they separate? Because you have not married that man. You have not married me. You have married the ideal that you have formed in your mind of me. So, your own conception. So you have married not me, but your conception of me. And so courtroom days, while they're courting, it is, okay, fine, boy will come around, he's always well dressed and clean shaven and nice, and the girl too, after they get married, he doesn't care a damn, He wouldn't shave or clean himself up for, looks spruce and tidy. He doesn't care that I'm married. And that is not. Marriage should be a courtship all the time, all the time you live. So, when two people are really in love, then this kind of thing would not happen. Now, sometimes one party is more to blame than the other. And sometimes the man could become very cruel and a separation comes about. And this has happened throughout since this world has been existing. So, marriage is a union of the mind, body, and spirit. And if all these three things are fulfilled, then life is happy between two people. Life is very happy. You have your occasional squabble, so what? That's nothing. But don't take it to bed with you. There was a person whose name was Mari Turk. She was a sexologist, sex psychologist. She wrote many, many books. You might have heard her name, Mari Turk. And she was the first one that invented separate beds, twin beds. I'd like to shoot her. It's a pity she's dead. No separate bed. No. Double bed. Or even a king-size bed. So you might have a little squabble, you go to bed, she is angry or you angry, and you turn your backs to each other, but you're touching each other. And slowly, even in your sleep, you might turn around and put your arm around her. You might, while lying in bed, have discussion and say, sorry, my darling, I said this, I said that, and I really did not mean it. It was just my stupid temper that said it. It wasn't really me. I must have been drunk. This guy came home late one night, nice and tipsy, drunk. And so the next morning his wife, that night, his wife asked him, where were you? He says, I went with Mr. Wilson to the Grand Hotel and we had a few drinks, too many. So this lady, Mrs. Smith, goes to the supermarket one day, the next day, and meets Mrs. Wilson. And she says that my husband went out with her husband last night, and he came home so drunk. So Mrs. Wilson also says, yes, my husband was also very drunk. Where were they, by the way? So Mrs. Wilson says they were at the Hotel Trocadero. So now here Mrs. Smith was a bit angry. She comes home, and when the husband came home, says, why did you tell me a lie, John? Why did you tell me a lie? You were not at the Grand Hotel. So Mr. Smith says, I'm very sorry, my darling, but I was in no condition last night to pronounce the word Trocadero. And she understood that he was tipsy and he wasn't really telling a lie. Understanding. That is the point I'm driving at. And if two people really want to understand each other, they can understand each other. There's no problem. So marriage is a union of the spirit first, then the mind, and then the body. That's nice. Beloved Guruji,
The other evening on Monday, you spoke about that you would leave your body. You chose to leave it, and that you would be with us 20 years. In the States, in the last few years, you've spoken many times that you wouldn't be with us that much longer. Whenever that might occur, you've never spoken to us, and perhaps this is a longer question, you've never spoken to us how we might prepare for the time that you're no longer in the physical body. Could you speak to us about that and how we should take forth your teaching?
Thank you. The way to give forth my teachings is to try and get transcribed. These tapes can get lost. Try and transcribe as many tapes as possible, get them compiled in book form, so they could be generated again and again and again, generation after generation. That's how it has happened with all true spiritual masters, right from Buddha down to Krishna to Christ. And he ran out of food, he was very hungry. So he killed his dog and ate the dog, licking the dog's bones. And then he thought to himself, oh, what a pity. If Rover was here, he would have really enjoyed the bones. First one. Do you know how to recognize a car if it belongs to a carryman? We can easily recognize a car if it belongs to a carryman, because the windscreen wipers would be on the inside. You know, there's another carryman who was a world-famous clairvoyant. You know the clairvoyant? Yeah. World-famous clairvoyant that he even knew. I mean, this comes upon the question which 6'4" asked us, Sri Baldev. This fellow was a great world-famous clairvoyant. He even knew the day when he was going to die, and the time that he was going to die. The judge told him. Have you heard of this film, Grease? Did he play here in Ireland? Yeah, Grease. What was it? The actor, John Travolta, that's right. I just want to know if you knew the film. So here this girl goes to her father and asks for money. And she says she wants to see Greece. So the father bought her a return ticket to Athens. Oh, well, it's 1 o'clock, lunchtime. Good to see you this afternoon. We have a meeting of teachers at 6:30, right? The people that are going to learn the mandala practice will be meeting at 4 o'clock. 3:30, good, fine. And you better show them where. Yeah, you can announce all that. We're going to meet to learn the mandala practice. So the meeting will be at, teachers meeting at 3:30 mandala, 6:30 teachers, and 8 o'clock we'll have the communion practice. So now the communion practice, it's a very holy thing. So when you come to the communion practice, have a nice bath again. I know you had a bath this morning. Another nice bath again, dress, then as you go to church. And then I'll explain you what it's all about this evening. So you my strong one man.